Amir Khan versus Miguel Cotto. Duh? I had to make a home improvement noise on that. Let's go. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, this is a strange video, and I say strange because it's not a video I was really anticipating or prepared to talk about. Like, I had heard some rumblings for Andy Lee, Peter Quillen before the fight was made and stuff like that, so I was kind of prepared to talk about. But this is kind of out of left field. Now, Amir Khan, on his social media, he tweeted this out today. He said, stylistically, Cotto would be a great fight for me. He's a great champion. Just imagine that fight in the UK. And he also said this, Khan versus, and he mentioned Miguel Cotto, Khan versus Miguel Cotto, I'd take that fight in a heartbeat at a catch weight of 155 for the WBC boxing middleweight title. Now, whoa, hold up. Khan talking about fighting at a catch weight of 155, and he just moved up to welterweight. Now, I'm going to do something. I got to give Khan props. Like, some people, they gallivant and run around saying, oh, I'll fight this and that. And I know people that know people, and I know situations. I'm not going to put anyone on blast because that's not what the purpose of this video is. But I know about some fights that have been offered and got turned down for no reason. Trust me. Trust me. And they had no justifiable reason why they turned down the fight other than, I'm not going to say they were afraid, but maybe it was a high risk, low reward type of situation, so they didn't want to pursue it. But with Amir Khan, I genuinely believe that he feels he could compete with anybody in or around his division. Like, within reason. I'm not talking about him moving up to heavyweight or something. But the guys are 147, 154. So I don't really think he's bluffing talking about fighting Miguel Cotto. And you got to keep in mind, Miguel Cotto, he did his thing. He set history for Puerto Ricans, and he got the middleweight title, but he's not a real middleweight. If you look at him next to even a Gennady Golovkin or a Sergio Martinez, Martinez was towering over him, and Martinez ain't even a big middleweight, but he had a little bit bigger of a frame, and he had spent some time in a heavier division. You know what I'm saying? So Miguel Cotto, he's not a true middleweight, in my opinion, despite being the lineal champion. That's just my personal opinion. So this fight is actually somewhat realistic because I think he could still easily make 54. But it's kind of shocking because I never really, I've thought of the fight at 47, but it got to the point where Miguel Cotto, he had started going up in weight to the point where Khan was still at 140, and I think Cotto was at 54. So I'm like, this fight, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic because they're kind of heading in opposite directions. So to see Amir Khan's tweets was rather shocking. Now, obviously, I don't do official predictions unless it's a signed fight or whatever, but I just want to give some early thoughts on this. This, again, is an interesting matchup. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember following my channel back then, but they were talking about making, before Yuriorkis Gamboa got knocked out by Crawford, they were talking about making a Tim Bradley versus Gamboa fight at 47. And I was like, whoa, where did this come from? You know what I mean? It's not a it's not a bad matchup, but it's not a matchup that I really thought of. And if you guys follow me, I do different kind of creative things. I have like Ego matchmakers where I play matchmaker and dream fights and stuff like that. So I never really thought of this particular fight. Now, taking a preview of this particular fight, it's interesting. I don't know that Khan, this is just my honest opinion, I don't know that Khan can deal with Cotto's power, especially at 54 or 55. He's talking about a catch weight. That's a tall order because even though Sergio Martinez was wounded and hurt, he got blown out by Miguel Cotto. And I get it, he couldn't stand, his knee was fucked up and bothering him or whatever. But the power obviously was too much for him in that given situation. So I really, you know what I mean? And to think that Khan got stopped by guys at 140, like Danny Garcia, he got stopped by Bradis Prescott and, you know what I mean, dropped by Julio Diaz. It's a tall order because Miguel Cotto is a hell of a boxer, especially under Freddie Roach. But I like the backstory. You got a guy who was in the Wild Card gym training. He went on to greener pastures and started training with Virgil Hunter. So he knows Freddie Roach. And I think Freddie Roach and Cotto, that partnership has been improving Cotto for whatever reason. Maybe it's just the gym. Maybe he just likes Freddie Roach. He just feels more confident. But Cotto's looked real good his last couple fights. And he's actually going back to kind of vintage Cotto in some aspects, like that left hook to the body, working the body at all. You know what I mean? His stamina looked good in his last two fights. whereas it didn't in the later rounds versus like Mayweather versus Trout. He looked, that's probably the sloppiest that I've seen Cotto look in a while. Like, I mean, he took a very beatable guy like Austin Trout. No disrespect, shout out to New Mexico, but he took a guy like Austin Trout who was undefeated at the time, but he just looked bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really want to see a rematch to that particular fight unless Cotto wants to do it just to kind of like he did with Margarito and avenge the loss or whatever. But Cotto just didn't look. He looked like he had no drive, lethargic. He didn't look like he was that hungry. He had a lot of stuff going on. The passing of his father. He switches trainers. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but he didn't look good in that particular fight. So back to Khan and Cotto. It's not really a fight that I had considered before, but shit, I would pay for it. Khan has never been in a boring fight that I remember, and especially against the big names. If you put him in with a big name, I really struggled to think of a boring fight that Khan's been in. So I give him props. I genuinely think he's that confident in his skill that he can beat these guys and compete with the Mayweathers and the Pacquiaos and even the Cottos. So in my opinion, it's a tall order just because, like I said, I rate Cotto and he's been looking pretty vicious, and Cotto is not a 140 pounder anymore like the guys that have recently hurt Amir Khan. So it's interesting, but you also have to look at it like this. Cotto has been troubled with speed. Mayweather's speed and reflexes bothered him, even though he held his own in that fight. Pacquiao's speed definitely bothered him when they fought. So Amir Khan, he's been looking real good. It's just that's a huge jump. You know what I mean? To jump from 140 to 147, you had what do you have? 3 fights there, 2 fights. Luis Collazo, no, 2 fights at at welterweight, and then to move up again and move from 47 to 55, very tall order, especially against a guy like Miguel Cotto. But I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna read too much into it until I hear some paperwork. So I guess props to Khan for wanting to fight the best. I just can't see him beating a guy like Miguel Cotto at that particular weight. That's my personal opinion, but he could make it interesting. If you disagree, drop me a comment. Let me know why you think Khan beats Miguel Cotto. Is it the speed? Drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this whole scenario, I guess you could say. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.